Hello, welcome back to Betting Expert. Looking back at last week, we did have 2 winners, 2 losers and 1 push. So effectively, we'll keep that in. Hello, welcome back to Betting Expert, and I'll look ahead at game week 28 of the Premier League. Now, looking back at last week's predictions, we got 2 wrong. There was 1 push, but we did get 2 right as well. So effectively, you would have broken even if you actually followed the advice. Hopefully, I've got some more winners for you than losers in today's tips. The first game we're going to look at is Brighton against Crystal Palace, the Seagulls against the Eagles. Now, there are 50 miles between these two, so it's a bit random that there is actually a bit of a rivalry, but it could almost be treated like a cup match, this one, instead of a regular league game, because there is a bit of a heated rivalry between them, as random as that is. But Brighton are actually on one of the worst runs in all of football at the moment. They're actually the only team in the top 92 clubs that haven't won in 2020. But we are actually predicting them to overturn that and get a win against Palace because they do perform pretty well against the Eagles. The last 4 matches, they are unbeaten against Crystal Palace, having won 3 and drawn 1 as well. So our top piece of advice for the game at the Amex is to back Brighton to win. And the next game we're going to look at is West Ham against Southampton. Now here, Southampton have been on a bit of a decent run of late, but West Ham are in the relegation places and do need to get a result. So we're actually going to predict that this one is a bit more of a cagey affair. West Ham simply cannot afford to lose. They did look half decent against Liverpool, obviously going ahead at Anfield before collapsing late on and losing to the champions elect. But West Ham will fancy their chances of winning. But here we are looking at under 2.5 goals as the best bet. And that is coming from our top tipster, Babayoko. And the next game we're going to look at is the evening kickoff on Saturday, where Watford host champions-elect Liverpool. So yeah, the title race looks like it's going to be over. Liverpool this week have been pretty busy. Obviously that win against West Ham, followed by a dubious advert for Coconut Water Company. Go and check that out if you haven't seen it already. It is pretty ridiculous, but it's also pretty funny. Liverpool now, I guess, they are so confident, they're doing so well in the league, they can spend that time, instead of training, doing these stupid videos. But yeah, fair play to them. We do expect them to get the result again against Watford as well. They can set records in this one. They can be the first team to win 19 consecutive Premier League games as well. It's an unbelievable performance so far. Our prediction is that Liverpool will win. A lot of our tipsters are predicting that, but our top tip for the game is actually to go over 2.5 goals. We do expect an entertaining game at Vicarage Road, and hopefully there's going to be a lot of goals in this one. So it's always good to back over 2.5 because you'll basically be cheering for both teams to score at either end lots of times. And now we move on to Sunday, where we're going to look first of all at the game between Tottenham and Wolves. So obviously Wolves this week have enjoyed a little jaunt over to Barcelona in the Europa League. They did lose to Espanyol on the night, but they did progress to the next round, so they are having a really good time in Europe of late. Tottenham as well, having a decent run at home at least. They did lose their last couple of matches to Chelsea and obviously in Europe as well. But they are fancied in this one. Jose Mourinho, since he took charge, he's actually won more points than anyone apart from Man City and Liverpool. So here we do fancy Tottenham's chances. And it's actually our top tipster, Nieda, who's got a prediction in this one. And he's basically backing Tottenham -1/4 on the Asian handicap. Now, if you're not sure how that kind of bet works, basically it splits your bet into 2. So you have Tottenham 0 on the Asian handicap and Tottenham -0.5 goal, meaning that if there is a draw in the game, basically you'll get half of your stake back and half will be a loser. And Tottenham, if they do win, then your bet will of course be a winner. And the final game we're going to look at is Everton v Man United on Sunday. Now, looking back at our previous predictions for Everton, we did predict that there would be a goal fest at the Emirates when they took on Arsenal. Obviously Everton took an early lead and then it ended up being 3-2 to Arsenal, so lots of goals in that one. However, in this game, we're actually expecting kind of the opposite, a bit more of a cagey affair. Yes, Everton did beat United 4-0 in this fixture last year, but we're not expecting that to happen, especially now United have shored up at the back. They've kept 6 clean sheets in their last 7 competitive games as well. And that is kind of the theme of our prediction for this one. We're looking at the both teams to score market and actually selecting no on this one. So basically this bet will win if either team keep a clean sheet. And that's coming from our tipster Nisot247. Now, for more top Premier League predictions, head over to Betting Expert. What are your top tips for the weekend as well? Get in touch with us, let us know. And if you do place a bet, as always, please do gamble responsibly.